24 goals conceded in the first 12 matches, the most by any ISL team. 23 players used in total. We can, easily say that Mikael Stahre's reign as the head coach for Kerala Blasters was not something that either him or Kerala Blasters would look back to with very positive thoughts, right? But while a lot of people, a lot of fans, a lot of other players or experts are blaming their high press, in today's episode, we're going to talk about the tactical side of Kerala Blasters and what went wrong with them during Mikael Stahre's term. And contrary to a lot of people, I think the high press was quite effective for Mikael Stahre. Yes, there were some defensive problems, but I don't think so it had to do a lot with the high press. But a bunch of other factors that I felt were the major reasons why Kerala Blasters are so poor defensive. So again, in today's video, we're going to talk about the tactical side of Mikael Stahre's Kerala Blasters. How did they attack? How did they set up? How did they defend? And what were some of the major problems that I saw with the Kerala Blasters team under Mikael Stahre? So again, let's begin. Let's talk about the number one, the formation that Kerala Blasters played in the matches under Mikael Stahre. So Kerala Blasters majorly played in two formations. The first one being the 4-2-3-1 formation, and the other being the 5-3-2 or the 3-5-2, up kisi bhi way mein you can put it. But these were the two major formations that Mikael Stahre played in. But a lot of the times when they played with a back three or a back five, either Luna wasn't there, either it was Noah Sadawi who was missing. In majority of the matches, Mikael Stahre preferred a 4-2-3-1 formation. So what happens in a 4-2-3-1 formation? You have 4 defenders, 2 holding midfielders, 2 wingers, you have a number 10 and you have a centre forward. If you have to talk about Kerala Blasters starting 11, in most of the matches, we had Drincic as one of the centre backs, we had Sandeep as a right back, we have Naucha at the left back position, and the other centre back was a position that was changed quite frequently. Sometimes it was Koef who used to play in the centre back position, sometimes it was Preetham Kotal in the centre back position, and sometimes we had someone else who used to shift into the centre back position. So we had multiple people in the back four, but I think out of the back four, 3 of the players, that is Sandeep, Naucha and Drincic, were the major players who started in majority of the matches. The goalkeeping position is not going to be a position that Mikael Stahre would look very fondly back to. Neither Sachin Suresh nor Som Kumar had the best of times for Mikael Stahre. Right, so these were the back five. This was the back four and the goalkeeper. In the holding position is where I feel they had some great players. It was either Koef who used to sometimes play in the holding midfield position. Vibin Mohan had the best. I think he was by far one of the best players, got a call up for the Indian team. And then you had Freddy in the holding midfield position as well. Danish also played a lot of times in the holding midfield position. Not your typical, holding midfielder, not your typical pivot, but he was also deployed in the pivot position. So these were the 2 pivots. Then you had Noah Sadawi, who was majority of the time starting as a left winger. The right winger was again a position which had a lot of changes, a lot of chopping and changing, where we had Rahul KP, we had Kuru. Again, a lot of changes happening in the right wing position. Number 10 pe you had Adrian Luna, and number 9 you had Jimenez. So this was majorly how Kerala Blasters used to line up. These were the major 11 players who used to play most of the matches. What was the shape of Kerala Blasters during attack, or how did they used to attack? So talking about attack and talking about how they used to line up in possession. So again, on paper, to आपकी formation, you have the 4-2-3-1 as your formation, but how Kerala Blasters used to line up while they were in possession or while they used to attack is again quite interesting. A lot of times what they did, they would have the two center backs as the first line, where they would, playing out from the back, or they would be the last line, if I can say that, in possession. Then you had a line of four where you had the two pivots and you had the two full backs. And then you had another line of four where it was the left winger, right winger, Adrian Luna and Jimenez as the number 9. We could even call it as a 2-4-1-3 or a 2-4-4, because in attack, Kerala Blasters were very fluid. Sometimes it used to be a 2-4-4, sometimes it used to be a 2-4-1-3, sometimes it used to be a 3-4-3, where one of the pivots would drop down between the two center backs. Both the fullbacks would hold the width, and it would be Adrian Luna and the other pivot making the next line of four, and then it was Sadawi, Rahul KP and Jimenez as the next line of three. In attack, Kerala Blasters used to be very, very fluid. Even the roles between Adrian Luna, Jimenez and Noah Sadawi, they used to rotate a lot. Sometimes Luna would go to the left side, sometimes Jimenez would drop down and Adrian Luna would act as the number 9. Sometimes Noah Sadawi would play at the number 10 position. So a lot of fluidity, a lot of rotation, a lot of movement, especially when it comes to attack. Attack was never a problem for Kerala Blasters. They've been scoring brilliant goals. Jimenez was in the top 5 of the scoring charts. I think he's number 2 if I'm not wrong. Sadawi was in the top scoring charts. You had Sadawi in the top assist charts as well. So attackingly, Kerala Blasters looked like a good team, looked like a brilliant team, and they created a lot of goals. And the role of Vibin Mohan, extremely influential in this. Got a call up for the Indian team, but just his distribution, just his positioning in the center of the midfield, I think that was a great, great partnership with Freddie, but at the same time a great sign for Kerala Blasters as well. One thing that I think the only sort of missing link, if I can say that, is I don't think so Mikael Stahre was able to get the best out of Adrian Luna. And I think a bigger reason for this was the signing of Sadawi, where Adrian Luna, I still think he prefers a left wing position, but Mikael Stahre played him at the number 10 and preferred Noah Sadawi as the left winger. So I think that was the only thing where I felt, he wasn't able to get the best out of Adrian Luna. And I think it would be probably one of the bigger challenges for whosoever comes in as the next full-time manager. It would be one of the bigger challenges for them to get the best out of Noah Sadawi and Adrian Luna in the same starting 11. So again, when it comes to attack, they were very dependent on the left wing and on Noah Sadawi for creating those chances. I think majority of the attacks, I think 50 to 60% of the attacks came from the left wing side, and the rest 50 came from the center and the right wing side. Also, because the right wing position has never been nailed by any one player. Sometimes we had Rahul KP, sometimes we had Kuru who was playing. Sometimes when they were playing at 3 at the back, it would be the full backs who would be providing that width. So that is why I think there was certain over dependency or certain domination of attack on the left wing. But I think Noah Sadawi to a lot of extent has also delivered, has been scoring goal, has been providing assists as well. And what they used to do, I think a lot of their attack was, just pushing in crosses in the box. It was, Noah Sadawi taking in defenders, then crossing the ball or cutting it back, or in certain scenarios, he used to dribble past players and take the shot himself. So in terms of attack, because they were very fluid, because there was a lot of rotation going on, I think they were able to sort of, create those passes, create those line breaking runs, and ultimately, find that right ball in the box where the poacher that Jimenez is, he got those chances, he converted those chances, whether it was a cross from Sandeep on the right side, whether it was a cross from Sadawi, or whether it was just a set piece that he sort of converted. In attack, I think a lot of it was sorted they were playing decently well. But it was the defense that had brought a lot of questions for Kerala Blasters. So what exactly was the problem for Kerala Blasters in defense? When they were not in possession while defending, on paper they were a 4-2-3-1 formation. They used to defend with a 4-5-1 or a 4-4-2 a lot of times. Majorly it was a 4-4-2 की जहाँ पे line होती थी, where it was Adrian Luna and Jimenez. Then you had the next line of 4, then you had a next line of 4. Why did they concede so many goals? And that is where a lot of questions have been also asked. This goes to the way that Kerala Blasters lines up when they are in attack. So when I started the video, when I was talking about how Kerala Blasters used to attack or how they lined up when they were attacking, it was sometimes a 2-4-4, right? So they were just two players as the final line, or at max it was a 3-4-3, right? So what happened? Kerala Blasters in attack or while defending, you can say that they used to press aggressively. You call it the gegen pressing, you call it the counter pressing. बहुत high aggressive press करती थी Kerala Blasters on the attacking third. So whenever they lost a ball in the attacking third, they used to press the team immediately in order to regain the possession back. I genuinely still feel that they press quite well, right? It wasn't the worst of presses, it wasn't the worst of counter pressing that I've seen, and especially for Indian football. And it wasn't as bad as the number of goals that they've conceded show. Now, why do I think though? Why do I particularly think so? In the rare times, what will happen in counter pressing or gegen pressing, there is bound to be a time that the press will be broken. If you are pressing the opposition 10 times, up मान के चलो, there would be 2-3 times where the press would be broken, and I think that is still a good enough percentage. What was happening then when the press was broken? I think two things they've been extremely poor at. The number one part, there have been a lot of errors by Kerala Blasters defensively, whether it is the goalkeepers who've not had the best of times. Both Sachin Suresh and Som Kumar, they've not had the best of times in the goal. And I think in the match against Mohan Bagan, it was said that out of the 24 goals, 6 of the goals have been goals that have errors that have led to goals. One of the major reasons they've conceded a lot of goals is there have been a lot blatant defensive errors. Whether you remember the Preetham Kotal goal versus Bengaluru, whether you remember Sachin Suresh conceding a poor goal against Goa. So there have been a lot of times where the goals that they've conceded have been in a lot of sense gifted to the opposition. I sort of watched all the matches of Kerala Blasters, watched all the goals that they've conceded. Out of the 24 goals they've conceded, according to me, 12 of those goals have either come from set piece or they've come from a mistake by their own team. So 50% of the goals have come from set piece, and a lot of these set pieces are penalties, right? So again, errors which have ultimately led to goal. उन्होंने 6 बोले थे, ISL said 6. I think there are more than that. Right? Now, obviously, when you have that high press, when the press is broken, you will have spaces. A lot of time where Kerala Blasters was caught out because they were ultimately left with 2 at the back or maximum 3 at the back. The wings, whenever a press was broken, the ball was majorly lifted to the wings, to either of the wings, and that is where the pacey wingers of the opposition took advantage of that. And that is why they've conceded a decent number of penalties, they've made a decent number of mistakes. So yes, one could say that because of the high press, they've been caught out a lot, and that is what has led to them conceding a lot of penalties. But I still think they've conceded very limited chances, but the chances conceded to the goals that they've conceded has been a lot. And this is something that Mikael Stahre had stressed upon extremely high in the last couple of matches. We're not conceding a lot of chances. With the limited chances that we are conceding a lot of goals. And I think here the team has to stand up, the team has to step up and take ownership of the mistakes. 50% of the goals coming in from mistakes or set pieces is something that is not okay. Even if 12 goals in set pieces plus errors, अगर 8 भी गोल error से concede हो रहे हैं, I think that is on the players, on the starting 11, on the playing 11, they have to put their hand up that they've made this particular mistake, right? So I don't think so we can completely blame the manager here. A lot of the blame also has to go down on the players, right? Again, one more reason I think for their defensive frailties, again, as I've already mentioned, the goalkeeping form has been absolutely poor. Both Sachin Suresh and Som Kumar, they've not looked comfortable. And as a defender myself, having played at the as a centre back or a full back, if I am anyways slightly skeptical about my goalkeeper, I think there is a lot of things that I would probably not do as a defender. Pass back, trust his call sometimes. So that is a problem area that is definitely a problem area for Kerala Blasters. Because with the attacking game that Mikael Stahre was giving, it's very similar to the way Hansi Flick plays, right? Where that I'm going to score goals, and that is where I have to just need to. So I know I will concede goal. I know as a Barca fan that we are going to concede goals because of the attacking game that we play, right? And just I think the difference between Kerala Blasters having only 3 wins to them probably having six to seven, even 7 wins still in the particular season. I think just a couple of mistakes. I think Mikael Stahre would have still had his job. Kerala Blasters would have been in the top half of the table, and we would have been talking about how good the attacking display of Kerala Blasters under Mikael Stahre has been. Yes, so as a manager, as a fan, I know if someone is gegenpressing, someone is counter pressing, in the couple of times that we are not going, the press is going to be beaten, I expect my team to sort of prevent those chances. I think the major problem with Kerala Blasters has been that they've not been able to prevent those chances. I think a majority of those times when the press has been broken, Kerala Blasters have ended up conceding a goal. And in times where they did not press high, Kerala Blasters used to sit in a mid block and start their press as soon as the opposition entered the half line. It was very rare, probably even only 30% of the time, that they used to allow the opposition to come and then have a press as and when the opposition comes to the center of the pitch. But it was majorly them going in a high press, winning the balls a lot of times, and that has ultimately also helped them score a lot of goals. So while talking about the defensive part, we've already mentioned about the major problems that I feel have been for Kerala Blasters. I'll again, sort of make pointers of the problems that I feel with Kerala Blasters for this season. Number one, the mistakes. There have been too many defensive mistakes that have led to goals or goals conceded from set pieces. Number two, the form of the goalkeepers. I think the goalkeepers have been absolutely poor, and I think that is one position that Kerala Blasters need to sort out, or both either Sachin Suresh or Som Kumar need to get their form back. Number three, them conceding goals on very less number of chances, in the times where they are high or the press is beaten. The one complaint I can say I have with Mikael Stahre, I think when it comes to the wings, especially defending the wings, while they were on the receiving end of a transition, I think he could have prevented that better. Probably the two pivots, they could have played a better role in preventing that, the attack from the wings, or some of the fullbacks would have dropped back. So I think that was one area that Mikael Stahre failed to address. So that was one problem. And I think again one major problem has been the injuries. Abhi Vipin Mohan has been injured. Sadawi wasn't available for a lot of matches. Then you had Adrian Luna not available for a lot of matches, and the way I started the video as well, where I mentioned they've used 23 players in just 12 matches. Mikael Stahre wasn't able to find which was his ideal starting 11. I think in the last 4-5 matches he did have a base of players that he knew that he wanted them to start every single match, but now he finds himself sacked as the manager of Kerala Blast. So yes, this was it for today's video. I've made some similar videos for Mohun Bagan, for Punjab FC and for Bengaluru FC. So if you like this particular video, I'm sure you'd love the analysis on Mohun Bagan, Bengaluru and Punjab FC. And if you like the content on the channel, please subscribe to Football Unplugged. Share with as many friends as you can, and let me know in the comment what are some other videos that you'd love to watch on the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and have a great day.